Sunshine, wild ones. It's Bernadette. I am here with your pick a card daily tarot reading for Wednesday, October 21st, 2020. I don't even know if I'm going to get through this reading, y'all. Because why? Because Tyrannosaurus Rex has shown up for your wild, wacky reading Wednesday pleasure. And the reason I say it like that is because, y'all, if you knew how many emails and Facebook messages and people even call me on the phone and they're like, I don't understand how a dinosaur or any kind of prehistoric animal or a fantasy or mythological animal could for real be a spirit totem and power animal. I just laugh every time. But and it doesn't have to be your spirit totem and power animal, but in the Ark, which is my award-winning deck, which is what I read from based on the Rider Waite deck, it is. And so and so I also know when I see dinosaur, in particular the Tyrannosaurus Rex, because she and her baby, they are in the moms and babies expansion pack of the Ark. And that's always a call for me about something that you guys are nurturing. Now, you could be literally like you're the mom of, your children, human children, or four-footed people, four-legged peoples. It could be a business that you're nurturing, but it's got to do with something where you are the mother goddess, where you are that's it. You're the mom. You're the sacred mother, right? And so, even though it's funny, because it is, and I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I've seen the Jurassic Park series about 1.5 billion times. I never eat more popcorn than when I'm watching that series. But listen, these were powerful, powerful, powerful animals. And while it can remind you of a 9-year-old with their little orange plastic dinosaurs and whatever, it packs a wallop. I mean, listen, this is the precursor to some of the lizards that we have today, some of the other, maybe reptilian-like critters that we have roaming around today. And just their sheer volume, how darn big they were. Y'all, they were 13 feet tall, just to the hip. I mean, they were monstrous. They could purportedly pick up about 500 pounds at a time. They could eat 500 pounds in a day. And I know everybody makes fun of them because they've got these little bitty hands and this big giant body. But scientifically, I looked that up because I was like, why is that? And no, there's no real proof, but it's thought that through evolution, their hands and arms got to be so small so that they wouldn't be able to reach their mouth. It's kind of like if they reached down and they grabbed something they were going to eat, they didn't have the dexterity and their arms weren't long enough to get it to the mouth. But what that did was it made room for bigger and more neck muscles because, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, that's a 50,000 gallon head right there. That is not a forehead. That's an 84 head. And they needed something to hold them up so they didn't turn into bobbleheads, which has to do with the spirit totem and power animal meaning of Tyrannosaurus Rex for today. So when you take a look at something that's just got that sheer raw power, it's time for y'all to tap into your sheer raw power. Not she-ra power, although that'd be kind of funny. She-ra Princess of Power. But your power. Now, having said that, let me also say this. The Tyrannosaurus Rex is largely known as the king of dinosaurs, and there's a lot of reasons why that is. But its Greek foundation for its name means tyrant lizard king. Now, ain't nobody likes a tyrant. I know I don't. So the first thing I always ask people to take a look at when they're playing mama is, are you being a bit of a tyrant? Are you lording over the subjects that work for you, or are you asking too much of them or demanding too much of them in a way that's not helpful? Just take a look at, are you just being a plain old poopy head of some kind, and stop it, because you're wielding power you don't even know that you have. Let me say that again. You're wielding power that you don't even know that you have. Now, when you talk about the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and the Tyrannosaurus Rex is in the moms and babies pack, the expansion pack, you're talking about blending two worlds together. And in this way, you're talking about blending the ancient world, like the prehistoric world, right, with today's world, because we're in this time, in this moment, and we've got a prehistoric animal that's come to us, a very powerful prehistoric animal, and it's come on that Wednesday where the ruling planet is Mercury, and that, you know, old Mercury, that good old boy, he would bring down the divine to, you know, bridge that gap between the divine and the mortal world. And you're like, what? I totally get it, but here's the thing: there's power, and then there's power, and I listen, y'all. I love talking about spirit totem and power animals. The animal allies, and I, we're like that, right? As evidenced by my business, by the cards. But I find sometimes that people can take the spirit totem and power animal thing a little too fluffily. They want to believe in all the best things that an animal has to offer. They want to believe only in the gentle side, or the, you know, whatever side that animals have to offer. But make no mistake, animals are animals. We're animals. We can flat get with it when we've been pushed too far, when we have, you know, somebody's, you know, peeing in our cornflakes, or, you know, whatever it is, we can flat get with it. And that's a Southern colloquialism that says, I'm gonna open up a can of whoop ass on y'all. And that is exactly what T-Rex did. They did not make any apologies for anything that they wanted. You know, I got to believe that what they wanted was fairly limited. They probably just wanted to eat and have their babies in peace, right? But it was fairly limited based on what we want today. But what it does teach you is that inside of you, you have access to a primordial, sheer, raw power that it's going to be very helpful for you in the world around you if you understand that you have, and then use that power um, in the most benevolent way possible. Let me tell you what I mean by that. So, you know, it can be really tough, I would think. It can be really tough to think of a Tyrannosaurus Rex as a doting mommy. You know, they don't really seem the type. But there isn't anything on this earth, well, except for the cutest animal in the world. I can't remember what they're called. They're from Australia. I can't think of what they're called, but I think I mentioned them in a couple of videos before. But when they when they are threatened, they'll throw their newborns at whatever's chasing them so that they can get away. And I understand that's, you know, keeping the species alive and all that kind of thing. But, you know, as humans, most of us are like, "Wah!" It horrifies us. But at the end of the day, and I've got to believe there are other animal species that do that, when you want to protect something, when you want to nurture something, T-Rex can be a really good indicator of how important is this to you. How much of a nurturer are you really? Can you truly be the Earth Mother? Can you truly be the Mother Goddess? Don't know. That's up to you. But if you could love a face like that cutie-pie little T-Rex, and they're only cute because they're in, you know, they're in artwork, they're in images, you know, they look really real, you know, thank goodness for computers. But um, you might get called on to see how brave you really are. Now, I have a good friend who shall not be mentioned, and what I've watched this woman go through for her son in the last 5 years of her life. When, you know, people talk a lot of stuff about heroes, this woman is a hero with a capital H. And not only that, she's an actual true hero, because she works, I'll just say she works in high level in law enforcement somewhere. And I'll just leave it at that. But when you look at this beansy little person, always with a smile on her face, always with a big spark in her eye, You have no concept of the power, the sheer raw power this woman wields. So, not to stress you guys out, not to trigger anybody, not to gaslight anybody, that, those are the words of the week, the words of the year. But it, today is a really good day as you're kind of bringing the front of the week and you're trying to figure out how to marry it with the back of the week, and into the weekend. What's really truly important for you? What are you willing to take, to really maybe even get past your own comfort zone, and be brave enough, courageous enough to reach out and snatch what you want? So that said, um, T-Rexes, based on what we can gather of their history that we put together, they hunt in packs, just like in Jurassic Park. So you very well might find that you're being called to join a pack of some kind to get something accomplished, or that you're being called to bring your own pack together where you guys can accomplish something. Maybe you're moving, maybe there's job shifting going on. Goodness knows the amount of homeschooling that's gone on this year. I don't, there may never have been as much wine sales in this country ever, or booze sales, as ever before. But at the end of the day, whoever it was that was homeschooling and responsible for the kids and the household and the this and the that, it could have been a joint effort. It could have been mom stayed home, dad stayed home, who knows? But even something like that can cause you to have to reach inside of yourself and pull out strength that you may not even have known that you had. The other thing is there's a tremendous amount of respect that is given animals that are this large. Always when I see large animals, whales, elephants, T-Rex, Stegosaurus, Triceratops, the biggest hippos, I always feel like there's a respect thing going on with that person. Maybe they are not getting the respect that they so rightly deserve. Maybe people are not taking them as seriously as they would like. Now, T-Rex, whales, that kind of thing, they command respect because of their size, right? They may be mean girls, or not the nice one in the herd or the pod or the whatever. They may be the mean one, but we don't know that. And so we just honor and respect them just for how big they are, but also because of the ancient knowledge that they bring forward with them. Remember, you guys, in every part of your DNA, though I can't prove this beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's all the science of psi and science of evolution and that kind of thing that I read because I'm a nerd and I love that stuff. You're bringing forth the wisdom of the ages, however your DNA has evolved. And you can tap into that at any time. Now, I'm a huge believer that you can tap into your past lives and your future lives at any time you wish. I'm a huge believer of that. And I've watched some people do some Akashic Records readings that have just left me like, man, I felt like Scooby-Doo. I was like, Rrr. And I would tell you that if that's why you're watching this video today, and maybe you didn't even know it until right this very second, you're being called to bust up on some of that, way back when kind of wisdom. I would really encourage you to do that. Now, even though today's chakra is the solar plexus chakra, I really associate T-Rex with the root chakra, because it's all about stability and it's all about strength and it's all about grounding and it's all about that fiery, that fiery red that we see in the root chakra. And so, homegirl Jurassic Park up here may be coming to you to let you know that your root chakra may not be as stable or as strong as you might like it to be. And so you can unite that part of yourself, that part of your own spirit that can be very T-Rexy, um, when you need to call that forth. You can do that. And it, if you take a look at their head, one of the things that I read in just like these random facts about Tyrannosaurus Rex, they seem at first, they're okay, look, they're big lizards, you guys. And so it may not seem at first sight that they were really intelligent, but when you take a look at the size of their brain, it's now thought that they were actually very highly intelligent creatures. And so you may be being also called to to figure out how to get noticed or how to get credit for or the respect you deserve, the respect that you've earned for some really smart things that you've done in some for the greater good or for whatever it is that you're nurturing. And that's going to be really important that people see you for as smart as you really are, whatever that means. Because when I step into that energy, that part, I feel like if I stood a couple hundred of y'all, excuse me, watching this video, and I stood a couple hundred of y'all in a room, honestly, the vast majority of y'all would have something where you want to rise up, you want to rise above. Maybe um, there's something about attaining or achieving a great height, whatever that means for you, getting to getting to great heights, and just the sheer vertical volume of Tyrannosaurus Rex could really help you do that. Now, if you've oh, I love it when the dinosaurs show up for people as their spirit animal. They go into these deep meditations and they're wanting hawk or snow leopard or snake or mama spiders, somebody to show up. And then they get faced with this T-Rex or some other kind of, super snouty critter, and they're taken aback for a minute. A lot of times they think that was an unsuccessful spirit animal meditation. It wasn't. It was exactly who you needed at that time. And what that would tell you is it's really time to unleash your core of power. Now, earlier we talked about, well, what does that really mean? And I will tell you that sometimes instead of being so showy about your power or, bonk, bonk, bonk people on the head with your power, you can accomplish a lot more in that moment, depending on your situation, by just being very, very quiet and being able to weather the storm. Now, y'all, if I had a nickel for every mom that's come to me during this pandemic COVID thing, and I don't know why they're getting a reading on this, but it seems to help them, but they are just not sure they can do one more day at home with their kids, truly. And the sheer raw willpower it takes not to snap back, not to come at them, like a T-Rex. When your kid turns around and says, I hate you, you're the worst mom. That is some power to the mama people. And I just admire you. I admire you so, 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 so much. And, it's the same. You get in close quarters with people, even y'all that don't have children, but you're married or you've got a significant other, a partner of some kind, even your dog. Um, it can get on your nerves. It can really get on your nerves. But instead of having patience, there's a call with T-Rex for you to have the power, the strength to just let it bounce right off you in that tough hide that they have. Just let it bounce. Just let it bounce. Just let it bounce. And you might have to bury your teeth. Y'all, their teeth were as big as the biggest bananas you ever saw. They had like, I don't know, 50 or 100 of them in there or something. Can you imagine having teeth that big? Holy cow, the dentist bills. So there's again something about power, something about you being the mom and nurturing whatever or whoever this is. Please, y'all, it's really important for today because it's going to bridge a gap of some kind. Remember, it's Wednesday. Now, you may not even see that it bridged that gap. It may be 2 or 3 weeks down the road before you look back and go, oh my gosh, all that crazy stuff Bernadette was blabbing all over the place. Now it makes total and perfect sense. And the other the other thing that I have found this year, women of a certain age have been calling me because all of a sudden they don't know what their life purpose is. And they feel outdated and they feel irrelevant and they feel, like a prehistoric something something. So I would tell you that maybe, 20 minutes into this reading, I would tell you that maybe Tyrannosaurus Rex has shown up to you today to let you know that you are still very relevant. And your wisdom, from however old it is, absolutely needs to be shared with the world and those around you. And it is valuable. You're valuable. And look at today's reading. I mean, today, here we are in 2020, talking about a spirit totem and power animal being a Tyrannosaurus Rex. That dinosaur is just as relevant today, spiritually speaking, symbolically speaking, as it was back in the day. Now, I personally wouldn't really want to see them roaming the earth again, but I they are animals that once roamed the earth. They made an enormous impact on their environments at the time, and so can you. So never think that you don't matter or what you have to say doesn't matter or your smarts aren't good enough, because they absolutely are. So I hope that was super helpful. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Pick up your copy of the Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck. And above all else, stay wild.